morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching in the world. Welcome along to TTL here on TTTV, round number 7 of the 16th season of the league. And we are here in Belgium. No, you're not getting deja vu, or are you? Have we been here before? Anyway, my name is Kieran McGinley, and joining me in the commentary box this evening is, of course, the lovely Mr. James Head. James, it's good to see you again here in Belgium.
It is good to see you as well, Kieran. Yeah, we're back in Belgium. Obviously, last race, we pretty much avoided the race, and we're having a rerun this week, so that's why. You haven't been in a coma, don't worry about that. You're just here. It's not deja vu.
Yeah, you're not here in a coma. We'll wake you up. That's not a problem. We'll be all right. Yes, back in Belgium. Obviously, as you said, James, that last week's results were null and void. 4 safety cars and 1 VSC. One safety car ended in complete and utter disaster, so we've decided to run it again. So there we go. So that means, I believe, who won it last time out? I'm trying to think now, because there was no official result. It was Recon. All right, okay. So Recon doesn't have that win, so he's got to do it all over again if he wants to get that win. However, what that does mean is that the drivers get a second chance, not only at putting on a decent show and a good result, but also a second chance at trying to close down the gaps to the leaders. And I mean, looking at the table, James, it's looking mighty close. I'm just having a look at the driver standings. You've got Recon on 87, Warren on 80, Carlsbury on 76, Navy on 68. I mean, that is one heck of a close top 4. Then tied for 5th place, Spike and Traw both on 35, King J in 7th on 33, Westy in 8th on 31, Lighty 9th on 28, Mashiro in 10th on 24, Sean is in 11th on 23, Key in 12th on 14, Mays in 13th on 6, The Gort in 14th on 4, and Jeffrey, the last of the point scorers, there in 15th on 3 points. Conti, Graham still yet to score points, and of course we have a band of new drivers joining us here for tonight's race.
Yeah, we have got a band of new drivers here for tonight's race. Chaos can't make it, so Toxic will be filling in as a reserve. Also in the Toro Rosso, I think, replacing Spike, who is not here, is Leon Bentley, who I'm really looking forward to seeing out on track, making his return to league racing within the last week or so. And then, as you say, we've got 19 points separating the top 4, Recon, Dilwarren, Carlsbury and Navy. Surely, on paper, this could be a race of the season candidate. I'm not going to...
Wait a minute.
I'm not going to beat around the bush a minute, but I think it could be one of those races on paper that we could see a lot of contenders and a lot of close action out on track.
Didn't you say the exact same thing last week?
I think I did, and then look what happened.
Yeah, so you've jinxed this race. Right, rerun next week. James has ruined it again. Well, I have to say, we get another crack at the track. It is a great track, a track that's loved by many drivers. I can't think of many drivers that don't like this track, and I can't think of many people in general that don't like this track, James.
Yeah, Spa always one of the career highlights, really, for any driver that comes here. Of course, 19 turns away the drivers. You've got famous corners like the La Source Hairpin, Rouge and Radion, the Camel Straight, down towards Le Com, down towards Ix and Brussels Corner, then through Pouon, then towards Stavelot, and then through Blanchimont and into the bus stop chicane. Pretty much. How I remember that, I do not know. But there's 2 DRS zones, one down the start-finish straight, one down the main back straight, the Camel Straight, from the top of the hill from Radion all the way down to the chicane at Les Combes. It's a real fascinating track. It's the longest calendar on the track as well. It's the longest track on the calendar as well. Messed that up a little bit. 7 kilometres in length, just over 22 laps away at the drivers. I mean, this should be a really exciting race.
Yeah, and especially as it is the longest... No, I'm not going to do it. That's a bit harsh. I've been word-tied before. It's quite funny when it happens to other people. Yeah, so absolutely, one of the longest tracks on the calendar. Just over 7 kilometres, 7.004 to be precise. And yeah, going through a lot of these corners. One corner in particular that might catch a couple of the drivers out is Stavelot, which is the right-hander just before the long, winding sort of left-handers all the way towards the bus stop chicane. chicane. We've seen in Esports Mini League a couple of weeks ago a driver crash out big time there. And obviously it's not great, especially when you've got front wing damage. You really have to be careful around a track like this. So, James, it sort of depends on a high aero setup, but then you've got the Kemmel straight. You've also got Blanchiment, which you can take flat out through there, even if you really don't have much downforce to the car. How on earth do drivers approach this one?
I honestly think the drivers have just got to approach it like any other race. Of course, there are a numerous amount of straight on the track. You've got the Kemmel straight that run down towards the Rouge and Radion as well. It should be a real fascinating race, as I say. Hopefully, out on track, the action is going to speak for itself. We have got a delay, by the way, just on the race. I've just seen in the chat we're delaying the start till 8:05. It's not long to wait, but 8:05 start, because I think a couple of drivers might be running a little late.
It's not long enough when you've got myself and James in the commentary box. That's
only
absolutely for sure.
It's only a minute.
It's only 60 seconds. What can you do in 60 seconds? Not go for a lap around Spa. That's absolutely for sure.
We can run through the constructors, though, because I don't think we've done that yet.
We have not. Would you like to do the honours?
I would like to do the honours, yeah. We've got, as I say, the constructors really, really tight, similar to the drivers' standings. Alfa Romeo on 99 points, leading the way from Ferrari in second on 93. Only 6 points separating, the same amount of gap to Racing Points, who's in third on 87. Then there's a little bit of a gap of about 19 points to McLaren on fourth on 68. Red Bull is in fifth on 66, only 2 points behind the Papaya team. Now the orange team, I'm going to call them for this season. Haas on 61. Toro Rosso, soon to be AlphaTauri, of course, they're on 52. Renault in 8th on 35. Mercedes in 9th on 34. And Williams in 10th on 28. And I've got to speak for myself, and I don't know what you think about this. I've never seen a driver's standings and a constructor's standings so close at this point in the season. That's how wide it is out on paper.
Yeah, and it's really going to punish any mistakes any driver makes. Being 25 points down or losing 25 points when we're on round 7. There's only 11 rounds in the championship, of course. We only run the odd number rounds this season. Yeah, it really will punish mistakes. This is where the consistency will come in. Don't give up if you have a bad race. Keep going, because you can pick up a couple of points, and those couple of points could really help you towards the end of the season. We're now counting down in towards the qualifying session today. We were. Oh, here we go. we were, we weren't, and then we were again. So 18 minutes of qualifying. That will be why. Yeah, so we've got 18 minutes of qualifying ready for us. 17 drivers on the grid. And once again, James, I'm looking forward to this one.
I'm really looking forward to this. As I say, on paper, this should be a race of the season candidate.
Oh, you said it again.
I said that last week. I know, and then look what happened. But honestly, I think the talent that we've got going forward here in TTL F1, obviously, I think I can mention that we're going to have 2 tiers next season of TTL.
Can you?
Yeah, we have. I think I can. Anyway, it's been put out in the chat, so I can only imagine that I can.
If James just gets whisked away from the commentary box, you'll know he wasn't supposed to say that.
Exactly.
But
you'll know why.
You heard it from James.
Yeah, the on paper though, I think going forward, this is the most competitive grid I've seen since I've came here in TTG, because honestly, the level of talent that we've got out on track, and it's full wet conditions.
Whoa. Oh dear. Well, Maze has also just said in the chat that you can, so
fantastic.
Oh, I'm sort of sad I didn't get to break that news now.
An exclusive for everyone in TTL F1 now.
Yeah, James is getting all the exclusives now. What's going on? Anyway, 17 drivers in the absolutely abysmal conditions here at Spa-Francorchamps. But it looks like it's going to be a dry race from what the reports are in the chat from some of the drivers there. So really, it's going to be a really treacherous qualifying session, because there'll be drivers out there in these full wet conditions, but if it's a dry race, then they're going to be going out there with dry setups. It's going to be very treacherous for them.
It's going to be really treacherous. So I think what the drivers should do, obviously it's going to be a dry race. They should just put on the dry setups. There's no messing about. You don't want to be putting on a wet setup for them to be dry. It's the worst thing to do. King J's just joined in there as well. Casse just joining in on my session as well. But honestly, with it being wet conditions, I wouldn't be surprised if you see anybody lose it at the top of the hill through a Rouge and Radion. That is the place where you are going to lose it here tonight. Eskrame and Navy are the first two out on track, both in the papaya coloured cars. Orange, I'm going to call them for 2020 because I've seen the McLaren livery revealed today.
Well, actually, just to correct you there, it's actually Chapelele who's out first, heading into Les Combes right now in the Renault. And yeah, actually, you were absolutely right. I mean, even in the dry conditions last time out, they were struggling at the top of Radion there. That's where most of the people were spinning out, and that's where all the carnage really started there. But looks like at the moment, with the slower speeds going up there, the drivers are sort of pacing themselves through there. But it looks like that rain is not going to ease up anytime soon, James.
No, the rain will not ease up anytime soon at all. I mean, we're nearly 2 minutes through the session and Chapelele's only down towards Pouon already. So we're talking about the drivers coming around on their first lap, their out lap and their official lap. They're going to be coming around with about 13 minutes to go. So that's 5 minutes out on track already spent for some of these guys. Spike just joining in as well, which is good to see. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to have a near full grid.
Yeah, 19 at the moment, at this moment in time. So we've got two of them who've joined in. They will start at the back of the race, and they might have to start on a default setup, or a quote-unquote default setup, but they will be starting at the back of the grid then. Well, we're going to ride on board with Chapelele here as he makes his way now through Blanchemont, on the way now towards that bus stop chicane. And here we go then, on board with Chapelele, heading now treacherously through that bus stop chicane and onwards now towards the start finish line, all the way now down towards turn 1 and La Source hairpin here on these full wet weather condition tyres, braking just before the 100 metre board. And there you can see these treacherous conditions. Chapelele misses the apex in the drive, but actually going around the outside in these wet conditions allows you to build up the speed down the hill and gives you better traction off the exit through Eau Rouge and then up Radion. You really do have to lift it. Oh, that back end was not going to stay in place there. Well held from Chapelele there as he makes his way now down the Kemmel Straight. You can see on the right hand side that the circuit map is not flashing red, so this lap is still valid as he makes his way now down towards Les Combes, braking about 80 metres before the corner. And in these treacherous conditions, normally the curbs are your friend. They are anything but in these wet weather conditions. Now making our way all the way down towards Brussels here, a long right-hander that seems to go on forever. You want to apply the throttle, but you've got to be very patient here. Down to around about 95 kph as we make our way now through X corner. Chapelele trying to throw the car in towards that left-hander now as we head towards the double left-hander of Pouon here. Chucking the car in, normally down 1 gear in the drive for Chapelele, also down 1 gear, but from 7th to 6th rather than from 8th to 7th. Here we go then with Chapelele making his way now towards the final parts of this track as we head towards turns 12 and 13 through campus here. And it's again really treacherous conditions. Watch out for that curve on the right hand side. Now making our way in towards this sort of boot section of the track. There's no corner name here, but now we head through Stavelot, this long right hander that really punishes the understeer with the wall on the left hand side. Now it's full throttle all the way towards the bus stop chicane, or is it? Because we've got Blanchemont coming up. How will Chapelele handle this one? Will he back off the throttle? Yes, he will. He goes down a gear, in fact, to make sure he can make the corner all the way now on towards that bus stop chicane, braking earlier than obviously normal here and trying to get the car slowed down in time. Making our way now on towards that start finish line, and Chapelele straight lining it as much as he can, and it is a 1:59.9 from the Renault driver. And considering he wasn't actually in much control going over the top of the hill, that's a very good lap time. Navy 1:59.4 there.
Yeah, very good lap time. You see the other guys just coming in. He's only 5/10 off Navy at this stage. Carlsberg just coming across the line to go second there. Really interesting qualifying session so far. Conti made a mistake coming through Radion, who I was just on board with. While you were on board with Chapelele, he made a mistake. He just tried to literally flatline it through Rouge and Radion. Never going to work because you're always going to end up spinning. And Conti, I think, will be coming back into the pits any second now. Just trying to pick up on anybody that is not on a lap. Leon Bentley was on a lap, but I repeat, he is invalidated. And Lighty and Conti quite close to each other, coming through Stavelot at the minute.
There is Recon then making his way towards the start finish line to start a brand new lap. He's going to set a 2:17 here, but he obviously wasn't happy with the lap previous, so we'll have to go again. We've got some Alfa Romeos coming towards the line. Carlsberry is one of them, P6 for the Alfa Romeo with a 59.9. Sean also following behind with a 2-minute.8. And in these treacherous conditions, James, with dry setups, we are going to be seeing near 2-minute lap times here at Spa. And that's just the flying lap as well. In these wet weather conditions, you might only get 2 good runs.
Yeah, I think dries to wets, I've averaged it out at about 18 seconds between a dry lap time around here and a wet lap time, because I've seen drivers do 142s around here before. Nathan with a 59.4, about 17 seconds off what you would expect in the dries. But yeah, drivers are really struggling out on track. Machila just coming across the line, setting pretty much a bank lap, and there's a Mercedes round, and I think that might have been Toxic coming through the S's just out of poo on there.
We've got Jeffrey, meanwhile, making his way around the final quarter and onwards now towards that start-finish straight. Chapelele goes quicker than 59.2. How about Jeffrey? Well, he's got a 2:02 on the board then, which puts him into 8th place. Bentley here is making his way just on the exit of Puon, now making our way in towards, I believe this is 12 and 13. Cal Spur, 58.6 from the racing point there, almost a second better than his previous lap time here. That's a great lap time from the racing point there. It's going to be hard to beat that one.
Going to be really hard to beat that one. Cal Spur obviously showed a bit of brilliance last week in the Forgotten race in Belgium. He was absolutely fantastic with his strategy and everything. Obviously, with it being rerun, it's literally a reset for all of the drivers out on track. But Cal Spur showing he hasn't lost any of that pace, and 6/10 ahead of Chapelele. He might be really hard to beat in this session. And just to note as well, drivers looking like they're setting one or more lap on a set of wet compound tyres before they come into the pits. That's to get the maximum rubber and the maximum tyre grip off the tyres.
Bentley then going P2 with a 58.9, only the second driver into those 58s right now. We've got Vitinho, who is on a flying lap right... Oh, no, he's on an out lap. My apologies to correct myself there. Great to see so many of you in the chat tonight, watching along. Welcome along to you all to this very wet Belgian Grand Prix, and no, your eyes aren't deceiving you. We are here again for a rerun here at in the Spa-Francorchamps in this forest area, in the Ardennes forest. And the Ardennes forest really does throw up some very questionable weather, especially at this track. The track spans such a distance that it can be raining on one part of the track and completely bone dry on the other.
That comes to show the characteristics of the track. It's over 7 kilometres long in length, and that's why we see the difference in the tyres. Of course, there's no need to second guess what the weather is doing currently, because it's wet, and it looks like actually the rain's beginning to get dry. I wouldn't be surprised if some people decide to come out on a set of intermediates next time around.
Could they be tempted? I wonder. Yeah, the rain has actually died off. You're absolutely right. So, obviously, the rain dying off is one thing, but the track being good enough and, well, I was going to say wet enough, damp enough. I'm not sure the phrase there, but less wet. That's the way I'm going to put it. Enough for the intermediate tyres is a completely different question. It might stay full wet weather conditions for the entire session. We just don't know. We'll have to see how this the wet weather tyres disperse all the water. And of course, these full wet weather tyres are designed to disperse 70 litres of water per second. That's right, per second. So hopefully this water will be shifting. We might see some quicker times.
I've got to be honest, I'm seeing a dry line starting to form. Well, sort of a dry line starting to form, where the track is less greasier on the racing line, just coming through Blanchman. I'm on board with Sean. Definitely looks to me as if it is getting a lot lighter out on track. I wouldn't be surprised if you see any green wall tyres come up on the left-hand side of your screen. We're more than halfway through, though, in qualifying. Calsper leads with a 58.6, and Leon Bentley in second with a 58.9, and Colesbury in third with a 59.0. Top four separated by just over 4/10 of a second.
We've got Lighty then making his way on towards to start a new flying lap, as is Conti. They're both going to do it on the wet weather tyres. There's no point showing you the tyre. Oh, that's Conti getting a little bit wayward there through turn one. He has to back out of that one completely there, and that is not going to be good, but he will have time for one more run at least. Maybe he might think about getting a time on the board, which I think he's going to do. As I said, no point showing you the tyres as yet, but as we head towards the end, when we see drivers come out, maybe it might be worth doing it to see what tyres they actually come out on towards the end.
Oh, I've just noticed, actually, Calsper looks like he might be coming out on a set of Inters. He's got it in his garage at the minute on a set of intermediate compound tyre. Not sure when he's going to come out the pits.
Oh, Cass.
But he's one of note. Leon Bentley as well. Recon. They're looking like they're going to go Inters.
Yeah, Cass is out there. Well. Cass is out there, the first one out there onto the intermediate tyres. So that is going to be something there. Vitinho has retired, and that is at the top of the hill. So another driver who's been caught out here at the top of the hill, and that will be his qualifying session over and done with no higher than 11th place for him there.
Goodness me, Carlsberry's just made a monumental mistake just before Stavolo. He's 4.5 tenths down. I think it's intermediates now, and we're seeing Carlsberg coming out. I think it's intermediates now.
Well, we've also got someone off there, that is Lighty, just before, I believe that's turn 12. It's after Puon. Yeah, so he's lost it there. I wonder if we can just get a run on board with Cass. Just as we do, the car's taken off the circuit. But never mind then. But it should be interesting to see what Cass does then. 6 minutes left to go in qualifying. It is Calsper on top, with Bentley second, Carlsberry in third, Recon in fourth, Chapelele fifth, with Navy sixth, Cass in seventh, the Gort in eighth, Shaw ninth, and Jeffrey rounding out the top 10. Vitinho, who's crashed out of this one, is in 11th, Graham in 12th, Mashiro 13th, 14th is Toxic, with Mays and Conti yet to set lap times. Lighty retired from the session without setting a lap time on the board. Let's see then what Cass can do in these conditions and on these tyres. I think you're right, James. The intermediates probably look like the way to go.
Yeah, Inter's definitely the way to go. As long as he gets out the traction through the final corner here, you can see him taking the wide out line. Now switching it to the inside, gets the run out of the final corner, and this is going to set him up for his lap. So Cass just about to go onto his lap now. Just speaking on board with Lighty, I would imagine he lost it on the outside curb after Puon. That's why we saw him retire out the session. That's the only thing I can imagine. And it definitely looks like that rain is beginning to stop.
Yeah, Cass then making his way down towards Eau Rouge and Radion then. Through we go. Let's see what happens. A little bit of a lift there. Oh, just he has to back out of that one though. Oh, that was very, very close there. The car just did not want to stay on that ground. But the thing about these intermediate tyres are you can back out of a lap and you can go again with very minimal wear whatsoever. So that's probably what Cass will do now and just try and find his way around the track again and almost treat it like an outlap again.
Yeah, definitely, and I think Cass, obviously, I tend to treat the intermediates as a set of hard compounded tyres if it was dry. They don't wear that much at all out on the lap. I'm just watching Calsper do exactly the same thing just through a Rouge and Radion. Goodness me, he was even wider that time. I don't think he's invalidated this lap, however. Just seen it through the first sector, and he's 3 tenths up through the first sector. Yeah, this lap is not invalidated for Calsper, so he's on a lap, and he's just through the com now.
Well, we've also got people coming down the Kemmel straight. This is Carlsberry in the Alfa Romeo. There was a Red Bull behind of Conti. Of course, Mays has retired from the session in the pit lane as he will look to get the car set up for the race in a couple of minutes' time. I was about to say tomorrow, but that's how ingrained in Formula 1 I am. It needs to come back. Anyway, Cass then will be winding up and going for another run. He's just making his way through Stavolo, and now onwards he will go towards 16 and 17. 17, of course, is Blanchimont, but he gets onto the grass there. Just needs to be a bit careful there. 3.5 minutes left to go in this session, and it is still Calsper on top. But with Cass, the first one out there, then sort of invalidating his lap time or backing out of it, it means there's going to be a, well, I think it's going to be the Gort. Oh no, it is going to be the Racing Point of Calsper, who will be the first to set a lap time on these intermediate tyres. And so let's ride on board with him as he makes his way now through Blanchimont. Is it going to be another lift here on these intermediate tyres? Well, actually, it was a gear down there. Well, I'm sure that would have done the gearbox no good whatsoever. However, Calsper makes his way in towards that bus stop chicane, nice and tidy, but actually comes into the pit lane. So that's his lap time done then. So it's going to be tight for him to get another lap time on the board. Meanwhile, then the Gort comes towards the start-finish line then as he makes his way towards that start-finish line, and the Gort puts it on pole position then. 57.9. The lap times will be coming in thick and fast now.
Yeah, Leon Bentley, I was just catching on board with the Gort's end of the lap. Leon Bentley's just completely lost it out of Puon. Luckily, somehow, he's kept the car going. I think he'll go for another lap. Calsper, by the way, was 1.5 seconds up before he came into the pits. Leon Bentley really struggling on that set of inters. I think he'll get another lap out of this, though.
Yeah, we've got Chapelele, who's on an outlap. We've got Navy, who's making his way down the hill. He's on an outlap now, but the thing is, he's got 2 minutes and 10 on the clock. I think he's just about going to make it. And in these conditions, especially with the rain, fading away towards the end of the session, you really want to be the last car out there to set a lap time. Graham there, 201.2 from the McLaren there. He'll have to go again and see if he can get a bit more out of that car. Leon Bentley has retired from the session, and he is at the final corner there. You can see his icon on the minimap. We've got a Mercedes making their way towards the start-finish line. Kalsper realises he hasn't got enough time left to set a lap time and retires from the qualifying session. So the Gort is on pole position at the moment. Can Toxic do anything to take it away, I wonder? Well, with 90 seconds on the clock, and with a lap time as it is in the top right-hand corner, I don't think so. He'll look to go for another lap, but he does go 5 seconds quicker, obviously, and gets himself now up to 13th. This will be the lap that is so important. We've got Cass then, who makes his way towards that start-finish line and goes provisional pole. 56.6 then from the Ferrari. Let's see as well. I think we've got Carlsbury, who is also on a flying lap. We've got the Williams, I think, of the Gort, still going around there to set a lap time here. He's in mode 0 at the moment, so he's taking a lap to sort of take a break here and then go for one final lap towards the end of the session. Of course, the highly likely situation is that the drivers will not have to use these intermediate tyres ever again at this track, so why not set as many laps as you can on them? There's not much in terms of delta that you can lose on a worn set of tyres here on the intermediates, as Carlsbury goes into the 55s with a 55.9 and now puts himself on provisional pole position. And this is going to be a familiar theme here as Conti goes P10. Then I believe Jeffrey has just gone P5 on a set of those intermediate tyres of 58.7. Recon then will start a flying lap on a set of the intermediate tyres, trying to leave it as late as he possibly can. We've got a McLaren there of Navy getting his way towards the start-finish line to start his flying lap. We've got a Renault making his way towards the start-finish line. Chapelele will also get another chance and another bite of the cherry, 57.3, but that lap time was invalidated, and the checkered flag comes out on Graham there, and he finishes P10 at least. 59.6 then from the McLaren driver. Not quite enough to have another go. He is the first driver then to take the checkered flag. We have got Jeffrey, who's also on a flying lap. We've also got Toxic there, 14th place right now. This is a lap that really matters. He's 4 seconds up on his previous best, so that takes him now into the 158. Let's see how he can handle the final sector then, and the final corners here as he now tiptoes his way through turn 19 and onwards towards the start finish line, gets onto the curbs, lights up the rear tyres, and that's to back out of it, and still sets 58.2, but it wasn't valid, and he will finish in P14 in this session. Ferrari is making his way towards the start finish line, and it's going to be Cass here who makes his way in towards the pit lane, so he will back out of a lap time. Front row of the grid from him so far. Sean making his way now towards the final chicane. Let's see if he can keep the car gathered in towards the final corner. Onwards now towards the final straight. 2 minutes, 0.8 on a set of the wets. What can he set on a set of the inters? He goes P2 on a 56.5 there. Good lap time from him, and it shows you the perfection of timing this session here. Carlsbury could make it an Alfa Romeo 1-2 if he can get even quicker here, which he can. A 54.8 from Carlsbury there sets the marker down. So how about Conti then? What can he do as he makes his way towards the start-finish line? Currently a 59.9 and improves to P5 then with a 58.5. And Recon 54.7. Recon smashes the hopes of an Alfa Romeo 1-2 and puts that Ferrari high up the grid. How about Navy? He goes third place and splits the Alfa Romeos there. And I think one of the last drivers here is Chapelele, who will now come towards the line. Can he try and grab it? No, he can't. But a lap time here, once again, from that man who knows qualifying like the back of his hand. Recon takes pole position. Well. So there you have it then. Pole position for the Dutchman of Recon in the Ferrari, with Carlsbury in second place, Navy in third, with Chapelele in fourth, Sean in fifth, with Cass in sixth, the Gort in seventh, with Conti in eighth, Kalsper in ninth, and Jeffrey rounds out the top 10. It's Bentley in 11th, Graham 12th, Vitinho 13th, Toxic 14th, Mashiro in 15th. No time set for Mays on his own power. Lighty, though, crashed out of this session without setting a lap time at all. We've also got, I believe, King J and Spike waiting in the wings to take their places at the back of the grid as we head towards the race. But James, I mean, the times got quicker and quicker, and you have to say, Recon was the one that timed it perfectly.
Yeah, Recon again, the man who knows qualifying like the back of his hand, as you said. Totally giving it to Goldsbury right at the end there, taking it by 1/10 of a second. Of course, it is now a dry race, so we should see the guys come out. King J, by the way, left the session during qualifying, which I did notice. We are only down to 18 drivers as a result. But what a difference a day makes. It's sunny.
Yeah, what a difference 20 seconds makes, eh? But, well, hopefully we will get underway very, very shortly. We've got the longest formation lap on the calendar. Gives us plenty of talking points and plenty of time to talk about strategy, to talk about what the drivers are going to be doing, and then proven wrong 22 laps later when the right strategy we thought is completely the wrong one.
Yeah, I think strategy will be quite important. It will be quite difficult to see, really, what tyres everyone's going to go on until, obviously, we get on to the formation lap. I think what the early stages will do I think a majority of the drivers will go on a set of medium compound of tyres, and that is exactly replicated through the strategies of the drivers out on track. Medium compound of tyres pretty much for 9 out of the top 10, Sean the only one being the exception rather than the rule, with a set of soft compound of tyre on. Graham and Vitinho on a set of soft compound of tyres. Mays interestingly going hard compound of tyre. Of course, no safety car on, which means if you literally spin out around here, your race is pretty much ruined before it already begins. But medium compound of tyres for everyone. This should last around lap 10, lap 11. I'm thinking softs will probably last to about lap 7 around here. If the drivers are really careful, they're going to go one stop pretty much for this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And starting on the soft tyres is a little bit of a strange one. Obviously, the soft tyres don't last long around here at all, but they haven't qualified on these tyres, so we can expect to see them run for about 5 or 6 laps. That then opens up the window to put on a set of the hard tyres to try and go to the end of the race. But to me, soft to medium is not a viable strategy around Belgium. Soft to hard, definitely, but not soft to medium. In terms of those who start on the medium tyres, well, I expect them to go onto the hard tyres around about halfway through this race, maybe lap 11, lap 12. Normally you'll find that drivers around here love the medium tyres. They love to put the lap times in, and they want to stay on that tyre for as long as possible because they know they can get the most out of them. And with the medium tyres, they don't wear as quickly, but they have the pace as well. So expect drivers to try and extend their medium stint for as long as possible before putting on a set of hard tyres. Recon, by the way, has got straight on with it. He's not waiting around. Meanwhile, Carlsbury is just trying to warm up his tyres, warm up his brakes here, and Recon is just simply having none of it, trying to get there as quickly as possible.
Recon trying to replicate a Max Verstappen formation lap from earlier on last season in real life Formula 1 now, I think. He's 15 seconds ahead of Carlsbury, who's literally backing up a pack in behind. Of course, when the drivers get to the grid, they're going to be on the same wear of tyres. They're going to have no wear on the tyres at all. It's literally going to be who blinks first, really, out on track tonight. But Recon, do I dare go for prediction?
It hasn't stopped you before, James.
Go on, I'll go top 3. I think Recon's just going to have the pace around here. I think Recon for the win. I'm going to put an interesting look on things and say Carlsberg for second. I think he's got the pace as well. And I'm going to stick it with the LOE cam for third. I'm going to go VRT Schiaparelli for third.
Well, there's the predictions from James. We have 22 laps to prove him wrong. Let's see how we can go here as we ride on board with Recon, then looking up at those red lights here that obviously aren't on yet. We're just waiting for Lighty and Spike to take their positions at the back of the grid now. But we are moments away from the Belgian Grand Prix here in TTL F1 as Recon awaits those 5 red lights to start counting up. And we are about to get underway here in Belgium. It is 5 red lights. And we are underway. What are the starts like? A really good start from both Alfa Romeos as they make their way now down towards turn 1. Recon trying to hold on to this lead of Carlsbury, trying to go around the outside at La Source. No way through. Recon is able to hold on there. You can see a Red Bull in the background, just getting a little bit onto the curb. Meanwhile, Navy is under pressure here from Schiaparelli, but he has to back out of that one into Eau Rouge, and up Radion we go. Can everybody keep it all together here over the hill? There's going to be lots of heavy fuel, and we've all got to drive around, and that's Mashiro who's out of the race here. at the very first lap. Meanwhile, we could go 3 wide on the entrance in towards Lecom here. Recon locks up a little bit there in towards the entrance of Lecom, and Navy sort of runs into the back of Carsbury there in towards the second part of it. However, they're all still going here. Oh, he runs into the back of him. Navy spins the car around back in towards traffic there. My goodness, thank goodness for the ghosting system there, but Navy just seemed to lock up and lose control completely there of his McLaren. And unfortunately, he's now all the way down the order in 17th place. Chapalele then, well, getting very wide there as we go through Puon. Very lucky to keep that car all under control. But Vitinho now is in trouble all the way behind. He's had a little bit of a moment going through Puon there, so he will now drop down the order in towards 16th place. Toxic, meanwhile, in 10th place there. Spike is up to 13th, having started 18th on this grid. Good start from him as well for Calsper, because he started in P9. He's now up to 5th place now, trying to chase down Cass, but as Recon makes his way towards that bus stop chicane for the first time in this race, he leads here in Belgium, with Carsbury in 2nd, Chapalele 3rd, Cass in 4th, with Calsper in 5th, or Calsper I should say in 5th, Sean in 6th, Bentley 7th, with the Gore in 8th. In fact, Bentley's now up to 6th place, battling away with Sean then in towards that bus stop chicane. Bentley says, I'll take that from you, as he now moves up to 6th place. Sean now down to 7th. Now the Gort's in 8th, with Conti in 9th, and Toxic rounds out the top 10. I thought Sean was going to have a little bit of a move there down towards the source hairpin, but he didn't in the end. Spike, meanwhile, trying to put some pressure on the McLaren. In fact, he's done more than put pressure on him. He's actually tried to make the move there in towards the source as we head down the hill towards Eau Rouge and Radion, and he's got that move done. Calsper, meanwhile, is right on the back of Cass here. No DRS, of course, during this part of the race. The first 3 laps, of course, he's looking down the inside, the racing point, in towards Lecom here, and he looks like he's got the corner there because Cass backed out of it completely there and let him have the position.
Yeah, Toxic and Conti just making a little bit of contact just in behind as well. Toxic losing the position to Conti there. I think it was actually Toxic trying to go down the inside of Conti, but a very clean lap 1. Navy and Vitinho went to the pits as a respective incidents, as you've already alluded to. Vitinho just got caught on the curb through Puon even, not a Rouge. Through Puon, that's where he lost his front wing, the left side end plate contacting with the wall. But a very clean start from everyone, and I've got to say, Leon Bentley has taken my eye so far. He's up to 6th place from 11th on the grid. He's beginning to catch the group ahead. Don't rule him out for top 3.
Well, you got Calsper as well in 4th place as he now looks to try and hunt down Chapalele at the head of the field, or at least 3rd place in the field, that is. We've got to be careful about Stavolo there. I can see someone overcommitting already.
Conti! He's just lost it through Stavolo. He nearly went into Toxic there. He's out of the race. Conti out of the race, making contact, just oversteering through the corner purely. And that's what happened there. Conti out the race.
Well, our second retirement in this race is Conti. He will take no further part here in Belgium. Meanwhile, though, Recon, of course, sets the fastest lap of the race as we finish the second lap. But Bentley then goes quicker on in 6th place there. He's on a charge. DRS will now be enabled, so this is now a chance for Carsbury to try and have a run on Recon as we head through Eau Rouge and up Radion down the Kemmel Straight. Let's see what happens here. Obviously, you're going uphill. Gravity's working against you here. Carsbury in that slipstream. Vitinho with a 3-second time penalty here. Here comes Carsbury trying to close in. Is he? No, he doesn't. He actually goes down to mode 0. Doesn't attempt an overtake in towards the entrance of Lecom there and decides better of it. Maybe there's a better opportunity on the horizon. Spike, meanwhile, going side by side with Light E as they now enter Lecom. Spike's on the outside. How about Light E? He's trying to stay on the inside line there, but has to back out of it, and Spike takes 12th place away.
Yeah, Spike Albert's going to get that one. He's got S. Graham ahead as well, so you should be seeing him pick up this position before the lap ends. Vitinho, by the way, just getting around the outside of Navy at the final corner of the bus stop chicane. He got the move done, but Navy's going to repay the favour down the Kemmel Straight because he's already gone past him. This, I like to call this for the wooden spoon out on track, but Navy has got 15th position from Vitinho. Nice move, easy as you like.
On board with Chapalele then, as Calsper tries to chase him down. Carsbury, meanwhile, is the car ahead of him. And actually, I'll tell you what, the top 6 are pretty close together at this moment in time. Calsper here has just seen Chapalele run a little bit wide through Stavolo there and could try and move in towards the bus stop chicane. He's got to try and get Blanchimont right, though, not run too wide. He does it okay there. On towards the bus stop chicane, but thinks better of it. Meanwhile, Chappellele up the inside. That was never going to work. He hits the side pod of Carlsbury and finds himself spun around. Will he try and rejoin here? I'm not sure. He's coming into the pit lane now. And in towards he goes. I wonder if he's going to go and change his strategy up here. Maybe try a set of the hard tyres towards the end now. That's really the only viable strategy he's got left.
Yeah, Colsbury just broke a little bit earlier for the corner. Chappellele, I don't think was ever going to get close. A Danny Rick-esque move gone wrong there, I'm going to call it. Bentley, though, right on the back of Cass, running down the Kemmel straight. They're pretty much side by side now as they open the DRS zone. Chappellele is retired from the race in the pit lane even, and Bentley has gone past Cass down the straight. Easy to like the Toro Rosso through in the Ferrari. He's up to 4th, and honestly, I think Leon could actually take this.
Well, Toxic, meanwhile, in the background, has got past the Gort, then up to 7th place he goes. Cass, meanwhile, again, has been passed. But to be honest with you, I think Cass is trying to play a little bit of a longer game here. He's already sort of not put up too much of a fight for Carlsberg. Leon Bentley managed to find his way through. I think Cass here is trying to play the long game, maybe try and extend his medium stint as long as he can.
Yeah, looking at the DRS deployment, he's got about 20% of that left. Cass obviously just losing the time to Leon now in front of him. Carlsbury, interesting, he's got 90% of DRS compared to Carlsbury, who's on 62, and Recon, who's on 46. Carlsbury, I think, is playing the longer term game out of the top 5. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Carlsberg beginning to make moves towards the end of the stint rather than the beginning of the stint, because we're only still fresh in the mind, we're only on lap 4 coming on to lap 5. Carlsberg, I think, is playing this very long indeed, and as you say, I think Cass also playing it very long. He's going to try and get onto the back of Leon coming down towards the bus stop chicane. Not going to be close enough though. Toxic and Sean could look quite close out the bus stop though.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean here still trying to hold on to that 6th place. He started this race on those soft tyres. I can only see those soft tyres lasting for a couple more laps. Lighty and Graham, meanwhile, battling in towards the bus stop chicane, and the German gets past Graham here. Up the position he goes to 11th place. Meanwhile, Carlsberg is right at the back of Carlsberg as we head in towards Eau Rouge and up Radion. Lovely, lovely bit of control there from the racing point. Down a gear, maybe to try and save a little bit of revs. And look at this here with the DRS then down the Kemmel straight, and that is 2nd place for Carlsberg. He moves up now and is within range of trying to get a move done on the race leader. Meanwhile, Toxic then gets a move done on Sean. He now moves up to 6th place. Toxic is on a bit of a run here, but he's now got 3.4 seconds to the next car. Graham takes that position back from Lighty that Lighty fought so hard for through the bus stop chicane, and Graham's gone through the DRS zone and said, well, I'll take that back from you, thank you very much.
Yeah, Graham, I think, is running a more of a straight line speed setup around here. Took the position from Lighty quite easily down the Kemmel straight. A very easy move to pull off the Scotsman up to 11th, Lighty down to 12th. Toxic, interestingly, is beginning to rein in on Cass a little bit. It's 3 seconds of gap. It was 3.4. He's beginning to bridge that gap down quietly out on track. But you never know, over the next couple of laps, these guys, of course, will be saving up the ERS. Toxic could be right on the back of these guys coming towards the end of the stint. Recon has pulled the way out in front, by the way, 1.2 seconds the gap to Carlsberg 2nd, Carlsbury in 3rd.
Carlsbury very, very close there to the wall on the left-hand side of Stavolo. That could so easily end your race here, but he is still running. He's still got all 4 wheels attached to that car, so he'll still keep running, and he's currently in 3rd place at the moment. Recon will start the 6th lap of the race here in the lead of this one in the Ferrari, with Carlsberg in 2nd place, who's just set the fastest lap of this race at 46.9, I should say. Carlsbury in 3rd, Bentley there in 4th, Cass is in 5th with Toxic very quickly actually gaining on the back of Cass there. Sean is in 7th place with the Gort in 8th, Jeffrey in 9th, Spike is into the top 10. We've got yellow flags at sector 3, that's Vitinho out, and that is at Stavolo.
Yeah, that's at Stavolo. Not quite sure what happened there. He was just ahead of Navy when it happened. So Vitinho, I think, has just oversteered into the wall. In fact, he's actually retired out on track, so I can see that AI car moving. He is retired out on track. Carlsberg 6/10 off Recon. I'm just watching a ball with Lighty right on the back of S. Graham, getting very close. Gort is going to complete the move down the inside, round the outside now through Lecombe. I think this is job done for the Williams man. Is he going to get it? No, Sean back down the outside. Sean repays the favour round the outside of Lecombe. Good move that by Sean. And Lighty, I think, has gone past S. Graham as well.
Yeah, Sean there showing that these soft tyres are not quite done just yet and holding on to that 6th place then. But you can see where the pace lies. The God is trying to find that way past. I think those soft tyres are nearing their sell-by date, if in all honesty. He's got to try and come back to the pit lane soon, at least, to not lose too much time. Meanwhile, Jeffrey and Spike there going through Put very close together as we make our way now on towards turns 12 and 13 here. Through campus we go. And Spike, who started at the back of this grid, currently now in the points and has been showing really good pace lately. It's just a shame that he finished late. He couldn't download the update in time, so he missed qualifying. But he comes here in good heart, in good shape, and to be honest with you, with a good chance of scoring some decent points.
Yeah, right on the back of Jeffrey, just coming through towards Blanchimont now. He could be all over the back of him. Jeffrey just running one wheel onto the grass there. Spike beginning to look around the outside. We saw this last time around with Lighteen S. Graham a couple of laps ago. Spike around the outside of Jeffrey, now switches to the inside line. He's got the job done. Jeffrey had to give him room. Spike gets that move done, and I think I've seen that 3 times tonight. Spike around the outside of Jeffrey, completing the move down into the source now. And he's up into 9th place. Clean as you like. Carlsberg right on the back of Recon coming down the straight though. Recon under pressure. Carlsberg is going to fly past him here. You can see what is coming. Recon can defend as long as he likes, but not going to happen. Carlsberg is through and he's up into the lead of the race, and he is playing the long-term game.
Yeah, Recon now down to 2nd place. We'll see how that gap goes towards the pit stop window here. Of course, I'm predicting the pit stop window, especially as they've started these race on these mediums. They haven't had to go through a qualifying session. I can easily see it be anywhere between lap 11 and lap 13 here, if you're on those medium tyres. But to be honest with you, I'm really surprised at Sean here. I can't believe he's made these soft tyres last as long as they have.
Yeah, Sean doing a good job in 7th at the minute, got right over the back of him. It's just condensed down that gap a little bit to about 4/10 of a second. Sean doing a good job. I can't really see any blistering. There is a bit of blistering actually just occurring through the front right tyre. Sean, I think, will be coming into the pits this lap, and any other soft runners that are out there, Esgrim the only one, I think he'll probably come into the pits this lap as well. As for the rest, I can honestly see some medium runners lasting for about lap 10, lap 11, and then we'll see the pit stops begin to happen. Recon is now all over the back of Carlsberg once again. He's not giving up without a fight.
Absolutely not, but he knows here that the DRSO down the Kemmel Straight is the place for the overtake here, out of the bus stop chicane on towards that short start finish straight down towards the source hairpin. Lap 8 here in Belgium. Carlsberg leads this one here at Spa-Francorchamps, and it is Recon in 2nd, Carlsberg in 3rd, Bentley 4th with Cass in 5th, Toxic 6th with Sean in 7th, McGort in 8th, Spike 9th, Jeffrey in 10th, Lighty 11th, Graham in 12th, Mays 13th, and Navy is there in 14th place, looking to just keep a hold of that car, keep getting there, see if he can score some decent points by the end of this race. Recon closing in quickly for Carlsberg, but it's not going to be enough heading down towards Les Combes. It's enough to pull him in within range, but then really in this middle sector, there's not really a place you can overtake.
Not really a place you can overtake at all, or both of them actually getting caught out. Gort is through down the Kemmel Straight as well on Sean. He's completed the move there for 7th position, but Carlsberg and Recon looking very close here. 3.5 of a second through X corner on the run down towards Kuon. It's 5/10 of a second. I think Carlsberg saving up his ERS still, 78%. Recon on pretty much half that, 31% I make that out as now. So Carlsberg carrying more than double the amount of ERS compared to Recon at this stage of the race. And just to interestingly note out as well, Toxic still bridging that gap to Cass, now 2 seconds. I saw it at 1.8 at one time.
Yeah, just riding on board with this Ferrari here. It's a beautiful red livery as it tries to chase down the Pink Panther of the Racing Point here of Carlsberg. We'll bring up all the graphics there as we see them now run through Blanchimont and onwards now towards that start-finish line. They've got the bus stop chicane first though. Recon looking for a move down the inside, but I think he would have seen that move from Chapelele before and realised there is nothing going on there. However, he's got DRS down towards the source, but it's a very short straight here. Not really enough time for you to build that momentum with the DRS. The one that matters is the Kemmel Straight.
Yeah, position of the car there from Recon coming out the final corner. He's just losing time through that final second, through the bus stop chicane. It's now 7/10 of a second. Carlsberg will see that as a significant advantage at this stage. Recon clearly taking that a little bit quicker, but again, 6/10 of a second is not close enough. And even with the DRS down the Kemmel Straight, it is not going to be close enough for Recon to get the move done on Carlsberg. Carlsberg just clearly exploiting himself through the final corner at the bus stop, and that's to ensure you get the run down towards the La Source hairpin Recon trying his best, but at the moment I can't see anybody getting past Carlsberg at this stage. Carlsberg, Leon, Cass, S. Graham is out at the top of the hill.
Yeah, that's at Radion there at the top of the hill. Let's see if we can ride on board with Navy. I think this is going to be a similar story. A driver losing it at the top of the hill. It's so easy to do here. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. The car snapped on him. He's got nowhere to go. There's no chance to gather the car up if it snaps on you there. You're just heading for the wall.
Yeah, no chance for the driver to recover the car at all through there. And Carlsberg still fighting on Recon. It's 5/10 of a second. Graham leaving the session, but we thank him, of course, for attending. 5 DNFs so far out of the race. Graham, Bettinio, Schiaparelli, Conti and Mashiro. And if your favourite driver is out, then I do apologise on their behalf.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know who you are supporting, though, in the chat tonight. Let us know down in that chat below. I'd love to know who you're supporting tonight. Maybe you're supporting Carlsberg, trying to hold on to the lead of this race. Maybe you're supporting Recon here to try and extend his lead at the top of the championship with no Warren here tonight as he makes his way now down towards La Source hairpin. Or maybe you're looking for Navy at the moment, 12.9 behind Mays. Maybe you're looking for him to just try and get one single point in this race. It's doable. I wouldn't rule it out at all.
I wouldn't rule that at all. I think he could go maybe towards the end of the race, and go for a bit of a splash and dash, as I like to call it, for probably the last 5 laps of the race. We'll see Navy is bridging that gap to Mays down. It's 12.7 seconds. Again, Recon not close enough to the back of Carlsberg. 3.5 tenths just coming through their column, extending that gap out a little bit. Recon takes a bit of a wide line, but there's not really much going on apart from this battle for the lead, and then Gort and Sean, who have just stayed completely consistent to each other, about 7/10 of a second off.
Yeah, I just can't believe that Sean is making it towards lap 10 here on a set of these soft tyres. It's absolutely incredible how long he's got them on those tyres. Maybe he just has a setup that's really nice and conservative on the tyres. Quite incredible, which will now open up a chance, maybe, if he's this good on the tyres, a set of mediums towards the end.
Yeah, Sean will probably go set of mediums towards the end of the race. I think 12 laps could easily make it, to be honest, if he decides to pit now. He'll be hoping to get a couple more laps out of these tyres. Sean now just beginning to lose the pace off them, 1.1 seconds. Interesting to note as well, Carlsberg losing time to Recon, and Toxic now 9/10 of a second away from Cass. Toxic is beginning to burn up the track here in Belgium. He is literally flying at this stage. Leaders not coming into the pits just yet, and we're halfway through.
Yeah, Carlsberg still leading the way as we head on to the 11th lap of this race then, with Recon in second place. Watch out for Bentley as well, who's managed to close in on Carlsberg ahead of him. 7/10 of a second is the gap so far. That's pretty much the same gap from Cass to Toxic as they head in towards La Source hairpin. And Sean, as you rightly predicted, well, he's actually had a moment in the pit lane. Well, now he's got to try and set the front wing to change to yes, as the new update will now change the front wing if you put it to yes in any scenario. Even if you haven't damaged the front wing, apparently, they'll still change the wing. So that could be a little bit of a spanner in the works. Medium tyres are ready in the Alfa Romeo crew. Doesn't look like there's actually any damage to that car as Recon picks up a 3-second time penalty. Medium tyres go on, and that should get him, well, if the soft tyres got him this far, then they should get him those medium tyres to the end of this race. So that opens up a question then. Maybe I've gone all about this all wrong. Maybe hard tyres won't be the tyre of choice to the end. Maybe it will be the soft tyre.
I think soft tyres will be the tyre to go on, of course. I think 4 to 5 laps they can make if the drivers have been on a qualifying lap beforehand. Obviously, these with it being a wet qualifying session, everyone is pretty much neutralised in terms of strategy. Recon still on the back of Carlsberg. These mediums have lasted 11 laps now. Ooh, Recon getting caught on the curb just before Stavilo on the end. Just lost a little bit of time there. And Leon getting closer to Carlsberg. Toxic getting closer to Cass. I think we're going to see this kick off big time.
Well, Carlsberg still leading the way, and when they'll pit, well, we could guess for you, but we're in the commentary box for a reason, James, I think. Yeah,
do not look at our strategies or anything like that. I have cost people's races before, so yeah, don't want to be recommending us for anyone.
Well, Carlsberg now halfway through this race, 11 laps to go. Carlsberg still leads this one here as he heads his way now down towards La Source Epping as we now make our way through. Carlsberry in third place with Leon in fourth, Cass in fifth with Toxic Sith. They're all going through that La Source hairpin. The Gort is in then from the medium tyres. Let's see then what sort of tyres he will go on to. Battles between first and second, third and fourth, and fifth and sixth that will be happening down the Kemmel Straight, and we'll cut into that if there's a close enough battle there as the drivers close in. Soft tyres at the ready at the Williams garage. Meanwhile, then cutting on with Bentley as he makes his way now down towards the entrance of Les Combes. Takes away that position from Carlsberry there, and Toxic gets ahead of Cass in the Ferrari. So Toxic up to fifth. Bentley up to third. He's now 3.9 seconds behind Recon. A little bit of a lock up there through Brussels as he makes his way now down towards X Corner.
Yeah, two for the price of one there, really. Leon getting the move done on Carlsberry down the inside into Les Combes. Toxic getting Cass done down the straight, clearly within the slipstream and within the DRS as well. He's now beginning to make his way through the field. Toxic, again, not a one to rule out of a possible top three finish, all bearing well. And Recon is now on the back of Carlsberg. As I said, this is starting to kick off big time.
Absolutely, and those tyres will start to be waning towards the end of their life. Understeer could be very real. The tyres are much easier to lock up than they were before. Mistakes cannot be made. It is as simple as that. As we make our way now through Blanchimont, onwards now, on board with Recon as we head towards that bus stop chicane. Will he try and move down the inside? He thought about it, but in the end realised where that was going, and I thought he might have snuck into the pit lane there, but no dice from the Ferrari driver. Bentley and Carlsberry stay out. So my theory of going for the medium tyre.
Yeah, soft compound of tyres. If these drivers do want to make it, I think we'll be pitting in. Recon then right on the back of Carlsberg coming down the Kemmel Straight. This could be a job done. Recon now in the Ferrari to the left-hand side, now to the right-hand side of your screen. Carlton's out on top, defends the position. Recon just getting caught wide of the curb there. Toxic
on the exit of turn number 7 there. Or sorry, turn number 7 that was, as Bentley almost loses it at X Corner as well. That's not a normal overtaking place. Bentley doesn't care though. He tried to make the move, but it was always going to be Carlsberry's corner, so Bentley had to back out of that one as they head through turn 14 on towards Stavelot. We're going to ride back on board with Recon here because he's right in the slipstream. I think he's going to turn his ERS down and stay behind the racing point, but then again, what do I know? Through Blanchimont we go. Carlsberg and Recon battling away now towards that bus stop chicane, and you can see there Carlsberg just putting his car in the middle of the track as they both now come into the pit lane to change from those medium tyres. Carlsberg comes in, as does Bentley. Toxic also in. Cass stays out then, so he's going to try the overcut, but on a track, a 7-kilometre long track where so much time can be lost by being on the wrong strategy, stays out. That could be a costly one, or it could turn out to be great.
Cass going for an overcut, I think, is going to cost them about 2 seconds when the guys come on to a set of softs. Obviously, they're going on to a set of softs now. Cass obviously has to treat this like a qualifying lap. He doesn't have to put a foot wrong. This is what he'd be imagining out there. Carlsberg's 10.5 seconds behind. Cass, I think, will be out. He's going to be out in 7th, I think, when he comes into the pit. It's going to be costly for him, I think, this overcut, because honestly, if you see it towards the end of the lap, I think Carlsberg would be in at least 9 seconds of him.
Well, there you can see Toxic's rejoining 7th place, Bentley there in 6th, Carlsberg 5th, with Recon in 3rd. Sean, meanwhile, battling away with Mazen as we head right now down towards Eau Rouge and up Radion. Now he's up into the points then, but he might have time penalties on his head as well. Riding on board with Bentley then as he makes his way through Brussels. Onwards now towards that left-hander of X Corner. Through turn 10 we go. Maze and Sean still battling it out then as we head through Les Combes, but Sean is able to hold on to that one. Of course, the Red Bull of Maze there would have had some DRS to help him sort of string him along to try and get another move done on Sean there, but just wasn't quite enough there. And Cass then on those medium tyres, he's only 9.3 ahead of Carlsberg. That is quite a deficit there that Cass has put on his car there, so we'll have to see how bad the damage will be. Where will he rejoin? Of course, yet to stop Spike, Lighty, Maze, and well, Navy is, I think, going to make another stop. I don't think he can make those hard tyres to the end. Cass comes into the pits then, so Carlsberg will rejoin in the lead of this one. Meanwhile, Bentley then right on the back of Carlsberg as we make our way down towards that bus stop chicane again. thinking about the move. I'm sure he was thinking about a move there, but no move was on. Spike also in. Cass gets onto a set of soft tyres. Now he's making his way down towards the pit lane. Now it is a short pit lane. It's a slow pit lane, and you actually come out on the inside of turn 1 there. So let's see where the Ferrari is. Cass then rejoins just behind Toxic. Then the only point is that when you're emerging from the pit lane there, you actually come out a lot further down and a lot further past the apex than drivers taking the hairpin in the first place. That means you don't get a good run down towards Eau Rouge and up Radion, and not a great run down the Camel Straight. Meanwhile then, Bentley closing very quickly on the back of Carsbury, looking up the inside of Les Combes. It'll become the outside, and Carsbury manages to hold on. No way through for Bentley.
Fantastic racing. Toxic in behind is just wetting his lips at this point, because Carsbury and Leon are going to battle quite hard. Toxic should just stay in behind, I think, because I honestly feel he will have the pace over these two eventually. Carsbury and Leon, 3rd and 4th. Leon trying to go down the inside into the com. Not going to work. Carsbury defending the position pretty much like a finished lion right there. Leon, though, much better run out of poo on. Surely not round the outside of turn 12. This will be bold and brave if he can pull it off. Leon ran the outside of Carsbury through turn 12. He's now on the inside through turn 13. It's still side by side. Toxic again, still wetting his lips in behind, and Carsbury somehow defends that position. Leon is all over the back of him. Carsbury parking the bus at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. He chose the right line, didn't he, through turns 12 and 13. Managed to hold on to that one, but Bentley, I don't think it's going to be too forgiving as we head down the Camel Straight. He'll be waiting. He'll be building up his ERS for that DRS straight. Or if he can find a run down towards turn 1, he might try it there. In towards the bus stop chicane we go. Kalsper sets the fastest lap of this race at 45.6. Meanwhile then, Bentley looking for a decent exit on the exit of 19 there, but not quite got the speed. He might try and move down towards turn 1, but again, he's just waiting for the Camel Straight, which just will be a much easier move than a move down towards turn 1. And also, here comes the DRS detection point. There it is, just across that dummy start-finish line, or the GT start-finish line. Now we head up the hill through Radion, and look how close Carsbury has to defend here. Leon on the inside. Now he'll have the DRS. Look at Toxic here, trying to make it 3 wide down the back straight, and they've all made contact there. Toxic caught the back of Carsbury there, which then set a chain reaction off, and Leon Bentley is out of this race. And to be honest with you, that angle there, 3 wide, was just not going to work. None of them backed out of it, and unfortunately, Bentley is the one who has to take the brunt of it. Toxic up to 3rd place. Now Cass is up to 4th, and that stricken Alfa Romeo of Carsbury now with sort of a dinner plate as his front wing now. Both end plates off on both sides. Will surely have to come back to the pits. That's just undrivable in these high speed of corners.
Yeah, it's a shame that contact was made there. Toxic, I think, honestly, I was literally looking. I think there was a gap through at one stage. Toxic just trying to nick it at the wrong time. Carsbury coming across on Toxic. Leon trying to close the gap in as well. Toxic with a much poor exit out of Stavolo as he got damage, actually. Toxic, I can't really see. I don't think he has. Cass is going to go around the outside of him through Blanchimont. He lets him through. So the Ferrari man is up to 3rd. Toxic then maybe playing this a bit tactically in 4th. I honestly couldn't give you an opinion on that one. We'll have to leave it up to the stewards.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder if Toxic here, maybe he might have damage, but I think it's more a strategy game. He's trying to get the DRS on Cass here. Meanwhile, Spike is on the back of the Gort here as he makes his way now on towards that bus stop chicane. Look how late he was on the brakes there. In towards 18. Through 19 he goes, and now he moves up to 6th place. So much confidence there. Carsbury is into the pit, so Spike will be handed 5th place there. So unfortunate for Carsbury there, but that front wing will have to be changed. Another set of soft tyres will go on, and maybe he'll try and get an extra point for fastest lap of this race. The only problem is he might rejoin outside of the top 10, which he will.
Yeah, Toxic has just sailed past Cass while he were on board with that. Toxic sailing past Cass for 3rd position. Now he can try and focus on his race in hand. He's just got to try and stay calm and collected. Obviously, there may be penalties coming after the race. Of course, the stewards will decide on that. Navy right on the back of Sean, though. 7th and 8th. Mediums against Hards. Looks like the Hards is going to come out on top because Navy absolutely sails past Sean in the DRS. Navy's through, and he's up to 7th just before they come. Sean not giving this one up without a fight. The Brit trying to fight it, but the Dutchman is out on top. And interesting to note, actually, it's got a lot cloudy over the last couple of laps. Is it going to rain?
I don't think it's going to rain, but what it could mean is that the track sort of gets cooler, and so that could promote graining on the tyres, which gives you less grip overall. So we'll have to keep an eye and see what it's like out there. Sean, meanwhile, still not giving up on that fight between himself and Navy. And Navy, obviously, who was caught up with an incident at turn 1, went for the hard tyres towards the end of this race, or on lap 1 of all laps, to pit in and put on the hardest set of tyres. I think, you know what, he'll try and make it to the end. I mean, he's sort of committed to that now. If he pits in for a set of softs, he's going to be outside of the top 10 altogether. Surely he'll be trying to stay here as hard as he can, as long as he can, and keep those tyres in good nick as Toxic sets the fast lap of the race, 45.3.
Yeah, Navy will try and stay ahead of Sean and Lighty as much as he can. Cosby right on the outside of Jeffrey. This is through Blanchimont. Surely not around the outside of Blanchimont. This will be bold if he can pull it off. He doesn't. Jeffrey then is on the inside line. Cosby to the outside line. They switch. Cosby now on the inside line down into bus stop. Lighty through on Sean as well down into turn 1. Jeffrey pulls the position and stays within 10th position, so he's in a final point scoring position. Not sure what happened with Lighty. I think he might have got caught on the curb out of the exit of start thingy. Oh, don't say I'm gonna
19.
Oh no.
Turn 19. Yeah, I think that's what happened there, because it was a very recent position change. Oh no, James has left the session. That's not good at all. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin, and let's see what happens. I wonder if he's still in this party right now. Meanwhile then, Carlsbury will breeze past Jeffrey then like he's not even there, and he moves now up into the top 10 as he looks to try and salvage a point in this race. Sean, meanwhile, still trying to get on the back of Lighty as we make our way now down towards Brussels for the 18th time in this race. But Kalsper keeping a healthy lead over Recon here, 1.4 seconds. James has joined back. I didn't actually see him leave the party, so fingers crossed you're still there, James.
I'm still here, yeah. I've just joined the lobby. Obviously the naming glitch is still here, so you'll have to keep on commentating for the next couple of laps or so.
Well, I absolutely will not have a problem with that, James. If you know me really well. Lap 19 here of the Belgian Grand Prix has started. It means we have 4 laps to go here at Spa-Francorchamps, and it is Kalsper who leads from Recon. Toxic is in 3rd place with Cass in 4th. Spike in 5th place. What a drive from him so far. And the Gort is in 6th place. Navy is in 7th. Again, another great drive from the Dutchman. Could have easily parked the car on lap 1. Didn't. Put on a set of the hard tyres. Is currently running in 7th place. And, well, this is what happens. Anything can happen in Formula 1, and it normally does. But on the hard tyres, he's now got a very, very quick Lighty on the set of the soft tyres, ready to take away 7th place, heading towards Le Source hairpin here. And surely he will try and move down the Kemmel Straight, riding aboard now with the German as we exit turn 1 through that slight kink of 2, and then onwards towards Eau Rouge and up Radion. You can see the incline here as the cars make their way up the hill. Such a shift of balance as you go through there, and you've really got to be careful on that loud pedal and through your steering input. Lighty then closing in on Navy, but look at that ERS deployment here, and Navy does well to block the inside line. Lighty wanted to commit to that, see if Navy went back to the racing line. He never did, so there was no way through for Lighty.
Yeah, no way through for him at all. I'm just literally rejoining back in, so I'll get on board with the action literally in about 5 seconds as everyone retires from the session on the bottom. Carlsberg doing a good job. I've seen within the comments, actually, I think it might be his girlfriend that is supporting them, Sophie, who's in the chat. Carlsberg doing a fantastic job out and from Recon 2nd. Toxic now in 3rd as a result of that contact. Cass in 4th, Spike in 5th, Gort in 6th. Navy and Lighty, though, about 7/10 second away from each other. The interval timings aren't coming up on my screen, so you're, I think, better place to run at that one.
Well, 1.4 seconds is the gap to the leaders right now. Toxic is trying to close in on the cars ahead, as 9.4 seconds is the gap between himself and Recon. Then it's Cass in 4th place, 2 seconds behind Toxic. Spike is 12 seconds behind Cass at the moment. However, he is on a fresher set of the soft tyres and looks to be trying to set some quick lap times towards the end of this race. The Gort then is in 6th, 1.8 behind Spike. Navy's 9.9 behind the Gort, but Lighty is the closest battle out on track as he tries to take away 7th place from Navy ahead of him through the corners. It looks like he's going to be quicker, the German. However, oh, look at that, a bit of a tail lighting up the rear tyres there as he exits turn 1. However, he's managed to keep control of that car. The only problem is he won't have got a great run out of turn 1, and will he have still been in the DRS zone? Well, yes, he will, but that ERS is not actually recovering well at the moment. The way Lighty's attacking, is not getting a real chance to recover the battery, and with a circuit that only has a couple of harsh braking points out on circuit, it's so difficult to keep that battery in check.
If Lighty wants to save up that ERS, he's going to have to lift in coast, because Navy is just beginning to pull away from him at the corners that matter most. Lighty just beginning to struggle slightly. Maybe the graining starting to occur. It looks like the sun is beginning to pull back through out on track, and it is certainly down on the run towards Puon. I wouldn't rule out Carlsbury out of all this. I know he's 1.5 seconds down. These two, I think, will begin to battle. Carlsbury will begin to close in as well. This could be quite close for 7th, 8th or 9th coming in. And Recon beginning to catch Carlsbury as well, 9/10 of a second.
Absolutely. I mean, he's on the fresher tyres out of this group. Navy on 18-lap old hard tyres, with Lighty on 5-lap softs, Carlsbury on 3-lap softs. I mean, he was battling for the lead at one point. You would expect him to be on the pace towards the end of this race. Lap 21 has started then. The penultimate lap of the Belgian Grand Prix is underway, and the leaders are heading down the Kemmel Straight. 1.2 seconds is the gap between Carlsbury and Recon. We're watching Lighty as he tries to close in on 7th place here, heading in towards the final chicane, the bus stop chicane out of 19. Much better run from him this time as he heads down towards turn 1. And Carlsbury here could be trying to get his first race win here in Belgium. Oh, Lighty runs in the back of Navy there. Now, does he have damage to that front wing?
No.
Obviously, from the looks of it, no. But there could be some internal damage to that front wing. You never know. We'll find out as we head through. No, he doesn't. But Navy gets all out of shape at the top of the hill. Managed to keep a hold of that one. But now, Lighty is on full attack mode. But you can see the ERS deployment. Well, once it goes below 10%, you get half the deployment you normally would. Again, Lighty runs into the back. There's some end plate off there. Surely Lighty has damage. Yes, he does. Front right on the front wing. Well, front right on the front wing. You know what I mean. But he has got wing damage. On the wing.
I think that's what you're trying to say there.
It's what I tried to say. It never happened, though.
Navy beginning to pull away now, though. Toxic, by the way, has got fastest lap of the race, so he'll be picking up that extra point. No, I don't think he will pick up that extra point, will he? Carlsbury then on the back of Lighty. Again, he's beginning to close up on Navy. You can see the superior run. Lighty will defend the position. Carlsbury trying to, well, he's essentially trying to knock him out the way out on track. Carlsbury ran the outside. Contact made. Carlsbury ran the outside. I don't think Lighty gave any room there. Battle for the lead. Where's this came from?
Well, where has this come from? Indeed, we're on to the final lap here of the Belgian Grand Prix. Carlsbury leads. Half a second now is the gap. It means Recon is going to have some DRS then down towards Lake Com. Can he take advantage of that? Well, he hasn't got much ERS to deal with. He hasn't got much fuel either as they now make their way down. He'll get a little bit of a higher top speed. Let's have a look at the comparison. Yeah, it's about 5 kph. That's all though, that has happened there as we now make our way through Lake Com. And unfortunately for Recon, he just doesn't have the ERS to attack here. And Carlsbury right now is looking really sitting pretty at the top here, trying to take his first race win of the season. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I am. That will be his first race win of the season. Recon with a 3-second time penalty. That will come back to bite him, because for Carlsbury, I can't recall any penalties on track that have been given to the Racing Point. So he just has to keep it on track here, and he will have his first race win in TTL F1. He now makes his way through we go towards the final sector, and the final couple of corners await the Racing Point here. We head through Stavilo for the last time. Make sure you don't understeer for the last time. Recon still half a second back, but with those penalties, we'll have to see how that goes on track at least. Carlsbury now through Blanchimont we go. Full throttle through there and onwards now towards the final chicane, the bus stop chicane, the final 2 corners of this Belgian Grand Prix. And Carlsbury comes around the final corner to take the checkered flag out on track. Carlsbury wins in Belgium, and a great performance from the Racing Point. He takes his first race win in TTL F1. Recon then in second place. Toxic comes across the line to finish on track in third, and Cass comes across the line to finish in fourth by 0.4 of a second after all of those penalties added up. So close for Cass to pick up a podium there, but not quite on the day. Spike, meanwhile, from 18th place on the grid, finishes in 5th place. A great performance from the Renault driver. The Gort, meanwhile, will finish in 6th place as he comes across the line. Navy, who was spun around at turn 1, had that instant. Look at Carlsbury trying to make it a run to the line, but not quite. right. Navy will hold on to P7 on those hard tyres. What a great drive from him as well. Carlsberg in 8th place. Sean finishes in 9th with Lighty in 10th there, and actually promotes himself up to P9 with those penalties. Jeffrey across the line in P11, only missing out by 0.2 of a second after those penalties are added up. And Mays here will come across the line to finish as last of the runners in 12th place. But your winner here in Belgium, his first race win in TTL F1, Carlsberg wins at Spa. I've said it before, and I will say it again. There's something about debuts in TTL F1, even if you have 2 bites of the cherry at his debut. Nevertheless, Carlsberg's got it right, and takes the win here at the Belgian Grand Prix.
Fantastic win for Carlsberg. Dominated things out on track. It was a fantastic win for him. And honestly, he deserves all the credit he can get. Recon really pushed him on that final lap. Recon would have been hoping the lap at the race could have gone on a little bit longer. He was right on the back of him coming through the bus stop chicane. Not going to pull it off, though. And Toxic, being a reserve, finishing in 3rd place. Good drive from him. Carlsberg wins, though.
Yeah, and here are your official, unofficial results here for the Belgian Grand Prix in TTL F1. Carlsberg wins from 9th place on the grid with Recon in 2nd. Toxic in 3rd from P14 on the grid. Great drive from him with Cass in 4th. Another great drive from Spike in 5th place with the Gort in 6th. Navy in 7th with Carlsberg in 8th. Lighty in 9th, and Sean rounds out the top 10 there with Jeffrey in 11th and Mays the last of the finishers in 12th place. Bentley, Graham, Vitinho, Shapalele, Conti and Mashiro all out of the Belgian Grand Prix. And of course, that fastest lap of the race bonus point, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong,
Toxic,
is awarded to Toxic. Yes, so he will score 16 points instead of 15 towards his championship bout. And a great run from him as the reserve driver, as you said, James. But at the second time of asking, we got one heck of a Belgian Grand Prix.
Belgium always produces a really good race, and that was no exception. Carlsberg and Recon really fighting it out towards the end of the race. I think Carlsberg was just being a little bit too conservative on his ERS. Let Recon have another bite of the cherry, but with the penalties, Carlsberg knew the job in hand. I think he knew the driver behind was in arrears with the penalties, and eventually took the win out on track. Toxic finishing 3rd as well. Phenomenal drive on his TTL F1 debut as well. So 2 debutants in the top 3, and I've got to give a big shout out to Spike as well. 18th up to 5th, fantastic drive. I'm going to lean and say he's my driver of the day.
Well, there you go. Well, unfortunately, driver of the day is decided among the drivers, so unfortunately you won't have a say. However, you will find out who the drivers voted for driver of the day tomorrow when all the official, unofficial results are made official after the stewards have had their say. But if you want to find out the official results, make sure you subscribe to, well, don't subscribe to the channel if you want to find out, but do subscribe if you want to see some great action next time around. Obviously, next week we will be back for round number 8, so don't miss that one. But yeah, if you want to find out the official results later on, at TTL_F1 on Twitter. If you like the commentary team, well, you can follow them on Twitter as well. Myself, I am at KS McGinley, that's MCGINLEY. And you can also follow the Mr. James there on Twitter as well, at B52Head. That's Bravo 52 Head. James, I have to say, a great race.
Fantastic race, and well worth the wait to put it off a week, I've got to say. No safety cars, no VSCs to worry about, just pure good driving, majority of it clean. What more can you ask for? Absolutely brilliant. TTSL tomorrow night, by the way. We are in TTSL tomorrow, I should say. I'm only going to be on commentary. Malc no longer with us in commentary for the final 2 rounds of the championship. And then, of course, Saturday is CRC, Project Cars 2 being brought to TTTV, Tier 2 at 7:30, Tier 1 at 8:30. And that includes me in that one.
What, you racing?
No, I'm not racing, I'm commentating on that.
Right, I was going to say.
If I was going to race, then goodness me, get me out of retirement.
Is there a tier 4? And you went, no, I'm kidding. No, that's specifically reserved for me. Anyway, a whole packed lineup here for you to enjoy, so make sure you do subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single bit of the action here on TTTV. Well, next week, I unfortunately won't be here, but make sure you do join the lovely Mr. James at Singapore for what should be the most challenging circuit on the calendar, on track and in the commentary box. And James, you're probably going to have to do it on your own.
Yeah, I'm going to have to sweat out next week in Singapore. 2 of the longest tracks on the calendar coming back to back as well.
Yeah, and especially at Singapore, where we could reach, if things work against us, you're looking at maybe nearly an hour's worth of running. That's only in the race alone, so a very long race. Make sure you get the popcorn, make sure you're in for the long haul, and it should be a great race at Singapore. But hopefully you will join the lovely Mr. James Head for next week at the same time, 7:55 PM GMT. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's stream. Until next time, I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been James Head.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.